Alright folks, we are here with round one, and you'll notice that round one is looking a little vacant, because we have no opponent. So, that sucks. Alright, so I guess we'll be hanging out. I'll just put it on pause, and hopefully our opponent shows up and we can start with the game. Alright, so basically how this match went was I teleported to the bathroom, and then I summoned a glass of ice water, and then like 10 minutes later the game just decided that we won. So yeah, let's look at what some draws would have looked like. That's an interesting starting hand. What the heck? Is it like 6 planes in a row? Okay, so anyway, hopefully round two will be much more action-packed for you guys. I will see you then. Alright folks, we are back for round two, and we do have a opponent today. Give me life 2. Let's do our traditional thing. I don't know if this is like my way of having good luck or what. Our hand looks pretty good here. Giant growth, we have our black mana, we have pretty much everything else we could want. We have a Concordia Pegasus, so at least have a creature and a Knightly Valor. Knightly Valor on a Concordia Pegasus is pretty good. I don't think we're going to go ahead and mulligan that. And let us begin. So, if I remember correctly, we don't have any 1-drops. So putting down an Overgrown Tomb is fine. There's a common bond. No. So we have some stuff to do here. Playing against black, we'll see what his black colors are. Black-red would be pretty significant. Okay, so Golgari coming out with the Gate Creeper Vine, that's fine. Here we'll see his splash color, if any. Some sort of gate, I imagine. See, that would have been nice to have a Gate Creeper Vine in our deck, but that's not horrible. I mean, we have some really good cards. Okay, so it's just more black. That's fine. And this is pretty cool because we'll have a little early beater out, and we'll be able to get in for a couple of damages. And we'll pay black mana too. Look at that. Got some black mana myself. So Concordia Pegasus, good creature. Pretty bad if he lays down something like a stab wound. But other than that, definitely not bad. We do have mana eventually for Knightly Valor now. We have our 5 mana. Ooh, he's accelerating quick, isn't he? That's pretty bad. So now we have something like a Selesnya Guildgate. That's okay. We can go ahead and flutter in here for 1. And he is going to have 5 mana on the board. That's not too good for us. We'll go ahead and play out this Selesnya Guildgate, though. I guess you could common bond this thing twice and maybe swing in for 3 instead of 1. But I don't know. I mean, he's looking like a late game deck because he's got this Axebane Guardian. I mean, he's got 6 mana right now, so he could throw down like a Corpse as a Cord or something, and that wouldn't be good. But we're pretty good in the late game too, just assuming we can see the appropriate cards. We're drawing a lot of land here, which isn't so good. Yeah, Rakdos Rage Mutt is pretty significant. So right now, having something like a Savage Surge would have been just huge. But that's not terrible. We can hold back. We do have some pump. That's going to shift our life totals pretty bad, though, which isn't so happy. That's an Armada Worm, so that's pretty good, too. Alright, so I think we can throw out this white here, and we'll be just fine. We actually have enough to Giant Growth and Common Bond, so that's going to be kind of interesting. It's kind of like you hope that he doesn't have something to blow us out of the sky. But we're not doing too bad now. We've got a 5-drop, we've got a 6-drop. I'm feeling okay, just so long as he doesn't really have a whole lot of ways to get rid of this. And then if we Knightly Valor this thing up, we'll be doing just fine. So things like what? Abrupt Decay and such would be pretty bad. Let's see here. Rites of Reaping. Okay. So what does that tell us? That brings this thing down to a -2. And that brings that up to a 6. So let's see here. We can increase this thing. Yeah, we can't actually block out, which is pretty unfortunate. And it's like... I kind of need to keep this guy around. So, I mean, this isn't like the best way I wanted to use one of my cards, but that's fine, I guess. So we'll go ahead and hit this thing twice. Oh. Or maybe I can play the right mana. There we go. So, yeah, I mean, there was no reason to keep the giant growth going just because it's like it still can't block out, and even if I giant growth it, it still doesn't survive the rage mount, which is kind of unfortunate. But by now he knows that there's probably a reason that I'm keeping this thing alive, but luckily even Electrickery doesn't do anything. He could have like a Dynacharge, which would be pretty bad, because that would sneak him in for 8 damage and put his life total like just at an insane place. Okay, so that's a pretty significant little beater we got. I think we can go ahead and throw down this Knightly Valor here, and that's pretty significant. So we're going to be swinging in for 5, which is fine. The problem is we don't have Knightly Valor open, which is not so fine. And our opponent does have just a god-awful amount of life that we're going to have to chew through. A Moto Worm is going to make that much easier. Yep, Dreadbore's pretty good too. So here, pretty much we have to throw away a Night Token to this Rakdos Ragema, I think. I think that's pretty much the way to go. Well... Alright, so we take 3, we go down to 8. Yeah, why not? Let's take 8, or let's take 3 and see what happens. Krasny Guildmage is pretty good. Alright, so... I think pretty much we just Moto Worm this up. I mean, I could swing, well... I could swing here, but then it's like... If I want to use a giant growth... why not? Let's swing. He may just let this through because he has, like, just a whole bunch of mana, or a whole bunch of life. Alright, so we do manage to sneak in 2 damage there. That's not too bad. Alright, so our Moto Worm hits the table. And if we start putting out things like this Krasny Guildmage next, we're gonna be in a pretty good place, because these things do have trample. Yeah, he can't even rush in here. Okay, so let's see here. We only have 1 black mana, so we can't really abuse the Karazda Guildmage too much yet. I don't exactly want to be swinging with both of these. Let's see here. I think that we can go ahead and swing in with... Let's see, we could play both of these. We'll have some blockers. We could double block this if we had to, but I'd much rather keep the Karazda Guildmage alive. Yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and swing with 1. And we'll go ahead and swing with our Moto Worm here. And again, he might just take this. And he does, just because of the levels, the life totals that he's sitting at right now. Alright, so we can play out this Karazda Guildmage. And we can play out this Drudge Beetle. And then we still have mana open for Giant Growth, which is pretty good. So we're starting to stabilize a little bit here. Having a creature with lifelink is still kind of worrisome, but we're doing okay. Our opponent's sitting with 2 cards in hand, 3 now with his draw. Perhaps one of them will be some sort of land. But I feel pretty good with something like a Giant Growth in hand. So Spawner Mode is pretty good. I think he'll be leashing that. Oh, no, he's going to unleash it, so he's going to try and just race us. Alright, so sitting on another land. I think once again we can go ahead and just slam our way in here with this, our Moto Worm. And I actually kind of want to keep this ability up so I can start putting down tokens, because that will allow me to basically block indefinitely. So instead of giving this thing Intimidate and doing like 1 more point of damage, we'll go ahead and hold this up and be able to put little sapperlings out when we need to. So like blocking this Spawner Mode with a Drudge Beetle and then like sapperlinging it is pretty good. That's pretty good value, because that's going to get us our scavenge up and things, which isn't bad at all. And we have plenty of mana to do things like Giant Growth and sack for sapperlings, so we're doing just fine. That's why I held back this mana here as well. Okay, so that's fine. We can go ahead and block here. And then we can go ahead and sack here. And that's kind of the power and the versatility of the Karazda Guildmage there, because essentially it's going to allow us to keep ourselves alive, which is good. So Axebane Guardian's fine. Let's see here. I think once again we're at a point where we can just continue to swing in with this our Moto Worm and do just fine with that. I could even start swinging with both, because now I have ways of keeping creatures on the board, and also if something weird were to happen to either one of these guys, or like if these guys got cleared out and couldn't block, I could even start sacrificing creatures over here. Yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and attack with both here, because he has to start doing something now. And let's see here, that's fine. So unless he has some sort of pump or some sort of spell here, this is basically going to trounce his entire board. Yeah, and it does. So now we can pretty much play this. We can pretty much play this Axebane Guardian and be fine. And he needs something pretty significant here. I mean, he's got 2 cards in his hand, but if he basically, like, vomited all of his good cards up, like Spawn and things like that, then that's pretty bad. I mean, that's pretty bad all around when, like, you put down a Spawn, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't really care. I'll just make some Saplings and block it all day. All right, so yeah, that was the end there. Let's take a look at how we were doing here. Yeah, we were doing just fine. We had mana to play anything in our deck, and we had our best cards out. So, okay. So things like Spawn Rixmati, Gatecreeper Vines. See, this is the part where things like Disarm Moto Worm is really, really fortunate because it has Trample. Like, I would even think about putting like something like Karazda Monitor in. So Concordia Pegasus is pretty good. Having 2 of these V2 Gazi Guildmage is also good. He has a Dreadbore, so he can kill anything, which is fine. Rites of Reaping, that was kind of interesting. But the Rakdos guy is pretty bad. It's important that we have this Avenging Arrow in here. We just didn't see it. I think we pretty much just stay where we are. He's not a super fast deck. We're not like a super slow deck. We just didn't really draw anything in the beginning there. But that was fine because once we hit something like an Armada Worm, we totally stabilized. So yeah, I think we can just submit this and go ahead and give it another shot. This is kind of an interesting hand. We don't have any white for the Sunspire Griffin, but it's okay because we do have this Drudge Beetle, and hopefully we can start drawing some lands and maybe get into a Knightly Valor and a Sunspire Griffin. Knightly Valor on a Sunspire Griffin is really, really important because that's just a really, really good creature to put a Knightly Valor on. There's better, but that's fine. Centaur's Herald, okay. Foily Centaur's Herald. Okay, so there's our black mana. So we can go ahead and lay that down. So now the only thing that we're looking for is a white. And if we do draw 1 more mana, we do have things like this Knightly Valor. Knightly Valoring a Drudge Beetle isn't exactly what I want to be doing. But that's alright, I guess. And there's another black mana. Alright. Okay. So we can play out this beetle here, and that's fine. We do need to start drawing into some white. And we have plenty of white in the deck. We just need to start seeing it. Even if it's something like a Selesnya Guildgate or something like that, that's fine. Just so long as I have a way to get this Knightly Valor out. Okay, that's pretty good. So now if we start drawing like another Knightly Valor, that's fine. I'm not going to go ahead and swing in here because it's just all bad no matter what I do. He could either block and sack or sack and block if he's feeling really, really rambunctious. Crack that Herald open. Be like, Centaur, this way, over to the Blighted Lands. So we don't really have a way to block that thing, which is unfortunate. And he never saw our Giant Growth. That's kind of cool. I imagine, though, he'll swing in for 3 here, and that's fine. Excuse me. And there's a Concordia Pegasus. Huh. Alright, well. I think we can go ahead and crack back here. And then we can go ahead and lay down the law with this Concordia Pegasus. I probably could have also, like, held back and double blocked, but the only problem is that, like, I don't really know if he has, like, more pump, and he does have things like Dreadbore and stuff like that. Although Dreadbore, if I'm remembering correctly, I think that's a sorcery. But who knows if he has another way to basically go 2 for 1 for us, and that's probably not great. And I really need to keep this Concordia Pegasus alive for right now, just because I really need to get a Knightly Valor on it. So yeah. So if we do see a white, that would be really great. Looks like he might be stuck on lands. Savage Surge is good. Savage Surge is real good. But pretty much Knightly Valoring is what we're going to be doing here today. So he's got something. Yep, launch party. Okay, that's pretty bad. I mean, it effectively 2 for 1s us, which is pretty unfortunate, but it does get his token off the board, I guess. Didn't see a launch party the last time, so something to consider for the future games if we have another game. All right, so he's got another land down. He's doing pretty good. He has things like Rage Mutt that he could be doing right now. But he doesn't have the Rage Mutt because he would have played it. Very interesting. Okay, and there's a Selesnya Guildgate. So now we are set. We are all fixed up. We can play all of our good cards. And if we had to, and he had a Rage Mutt, we could actually even Savage Surge this and kill it. Might even see the Rage Mutt right now. Draws the monitor. Okay, that's pretty good. And we even see another land out of the deal. So, yep. We'll go ahead and leave Giant Growth Mana open. So yeah, our Moto Worm is the way of the dinosaur here that we're going. Some people have some different names for this Armada Worm. I can't really talk about it here. But it does look highly suspect. Yeah, so I don't know. If he swings in with the Karazda Monitor, I might even just block with a Drudge Beetle, just to get additional value on top of my Armada Worm. But I don't know. I can't really see him swinging unless he has some sort of like Rites of Reaping or something like that. Yeah, Dreadbore is pretty good. So no tricks apparently. Well, he might. Nope. Okay. So no tricks. Golgari Longlegs, strong play. So I think we can just go ahead and swing in here with this Armada Worm. And from there, just let me count my mana and make sure that I can Golgari Longlegs and Savage Surge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we can, just so long as we play it correctly. We'll go ahead and play it for 2 black, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, we can't do Sunspire Griffin as well. I'd actually probably rather have the Savage Surge up. Yeah, I think I'd rather just keep the Savage Surge up right now. So we have some really, really big creatures online right now. We've got a 5/5 Trampler. We have this 5/4 Golgari Longlegs. We're going to get some aerial beats on in a little bit. And even a Rites of Reaping doesn't quite do enough for him. That's curious. Okay, so he has some sort of definitive ability here that he can do. Let's see. think we're going to go ahead and block here and draw out his pump. If it's a giant growth, that's pretty bad, I guess. Well, it's something else. So Chorus of Might. Okay, yeah, see, we can go ahead and Savage Surge this. Yeah, that was kind of a blowout right there. Alright, so yeah, this deck is disgusting. And we haven't even seen V2Gazi Guildmage yet. We haven't seen Growing Ranks, but our Moto Worm just wins games. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you guys for the finals with round 3.